Okay, welcome everybody once again to the Crew Philosopher podcast. I am your host, Jabaya, aka the Crew Philosopher. We are here with one of the GOATs, in my opinion. Okay, This guy was on my first podcast, the Keynesian podcast. Yep. He's been on this podcast before previously. He is back again. In total, I think this is like our fifth sit down together.
I think it's more than that. I think it has to be like 6 or 7, maybe 8.
We did 2. We did 3.
I'll count it up. I'll count it up right now.
Go ahead.
There was all right. So there was one I did by myself. Then I brought my homegirl Lachey. Then I came back by myself. That's 3. I did 1, 2. No, I did 2 in like May. Right.
This is number 6, I think.
This is number 6. Yeah.
Number 6. Yeah. 6. So yeah, this is our 6th down together. I'm with my homie Miguel. And for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, get ready. Miguel, how have you been, my friend?
I've been good. 2021, thank God, right? Where
Miguel, you came in and out. Can you hear me? You like froze.
No more. Hopefully taking responsibility for their own actions. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but that part broke up. What did you say? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I switched to internet.
What was that? What happened?
I don't know.
Okay,
I switched to the internet, so we should be good. My bad. So you were saying what?
No, I'm just we're in 2021, so now it's time people take action of this year, make it your own, shit like that.
Do you think this year's gonna be any different than last year?
Yeah, if people allow it to be different. It's like, I don't know, everyone gave 2020 was everyone's excuse for how their life was shaped last year. It was just, because of 2020. That's why I'm so happy to be in 2021. Like, if I hear you even still speak about 2020, like, because of 20, I'm gonna smack you. Just be like, yo. This year, I texted everyone on New Year's, like who I texted Happy New Year's to. I was like, This year is what you make it. This year is what you make it. This year is what you make it.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
So make it yours, man. Make it yours. You get dealt shit hands, like make something from it. We all play spades. Fuck it.
Yeah, I just played spades with the family the other day. We won, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. So as you can know here, so me and Miguel have been friends for a while now. Probably like 7 to 8 years, I think.
Yep, something like that.
We've been friends. I think probably we relate because we are both toxic lovers.
I thought you called me to be a filmmaker on today's podcast.
You are. So Miguel's a filmmaker, and I'm very interested to get into his filmmaking past, how he got into filmmaking. Does he think that filmmakers who are not professional filmmakers, whatever that even means, are viewed as less than? A bunch of stuff I want to get into. But you texted me something this past week when I asked you where were you at. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Miguel's out here living like there ain't no pandemic. Like in his mind, Corona.
That's not true. See, bro, this is why I don't come on the podcast anymore. Every time I come on the podcast, you making it seem like I'm this toxic Republican ass evil evil doer in the world, bro. That's not it. Like, I went to Atlanta for work. I was enjoying what Atlanta had to offer.
Yes. I'm not judging you.
In a safe way.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, even the fact that you got on a plane and you went down there, that is something that someone would do who thinks that they are untouchable by that Rona. And I respect it. I wish I was as brave as you were. I'm not, but I wish I was.
I wish my bills believed in coronavirus. But I don't know about anyone else in the world. My bills don't believe in coronavirus. They don't know coronavirus exists. So I need to take care of my bills,
I agree. That said, that's not what interested me. And you know where I'm going. What interested me was when I asked Miguel what he was doing. He gave me like a what's that thing hotels give? Itinerary. He gave me like an itinerary of his events. down there where he was at, and he tried to sneak past one part, which I think he had to know. I was going to ask him about, which was
What?
when the swingers club, sex club, what was that?
So all right. So let me break it down like this, because obviously you're trying to give the public that image of me. So I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay.
I went down for work while I was down there in Atlanta. A homeboy of mine from Florida, me and him have been texting. He recently has been breaking into the adult film world, right? So I said, cool. Da, da, da. I told him I was going to Atlanta. He said, oh, I should come up. I said, come through. You know what I mean? We split that Airbnb, saves me money. I got to take care of these bills. Keep telling you that. So he comes up and, you know, he gets there. And on God, like, I Googled what club should we go to. And it gave me a club. It gave me a club.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the club. It ended up being a swingers club. Now, this man was like, oh, I can network here. I said, okay. So then we enter the swingers club. There you go.
So let me get this straight. You have a friend who was trying to get into the adult film industry.
Yeah, and he's doing pretty good on it. He's doing
So
like,
he started.
he's done a few. Yeah, he started. He's done a few scenes. I'm proud of
Okay,
him.
as a producer.
No, no, no. As a star, as an actual
Oh,
performer.
so he's trying to be a male performer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's done some things. Okay, all right. And so you guys just happen to go end up at a some type of. Now, is it swingers or sex, or is this synonymous?
It's synonymous.
Okay, so you get there. What happens? I mean, he says he can. I know why thinks he can go there and connect with people. What are you doing?
I'm just being I'm being a good friend. I'm supporting my boy. I was showing up. I was like, fuck it, you know. Can't let him go. What if he walked in there and they all killed him? You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, let me walk in with him. So I walk in. I'm like dodging and weaving, and I'm just like, oh wow, like it just opened my eyes to a lot. I was talking to some people about it last night. So apparently, clubs like this exist all over, which I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
really know. I didn't really know that. I didn't really know.
Okay.
I didn't know. So, but then when I started describing the club, like, which I thought was abnormal, all the things that I thought were abnormal, like, you know, this man taking both his hands and lifting this girl up by her neck like that, and swords and shit like that. I was like, oh, can you believe it? And these people were like, yeah, they do that at these clubs. And I was like, oh, so this is a national aesthetic that happens at these swingers sex club, whatever it is. I don't know. I've never been to one. It was my first time. It was a big shock.
Okay, so here's what I'm kind of shocked that you were just able to walk in there. Usually with these places, there's like a guest list or location to be
Nope.
announced. You were just able to just walk in there.
We showed up and we were like, as soon as I saw the spot, I was like, this is sus. We opened the door and I was just like, I smelled the air and I was like, oh, it smells like no. I was like, no, nah.
Smell
And
like
then
what?
the lady,
Lust?
it smelled like lust. It smelled like an old video store. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, oh god. And then yeah, they were just like, oh, you guys coming in. And my buddy looked excited, and I was just like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. We had to pay like obviously the entrance, and then we
How
got
much
it.
was the fee?
Oh, $70
$70.
to get in.
Okay. So what did you see exactly? Like, is it sectioned off by activity? Were there more women than men?
It's all pretty open. I will say this: there's a couples area where like if you're not with a couple, you can't walk into that area. I think that's where most of the fucking happens. I gotta be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
because like there was so many sounds coming from there. There's like big security guards kind of blocking it off. You can tell you're not everyone's allowed to just jump in there. So when you first walk in, there's porn playing all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was kind of disappointed in their playlist. I'm not gonna lie, but like,
Too vanilla for you?
yeah, I was like, oh, this is low quality. I was like, come on, this performance, this is not the mood right now. But like, it's just a playlist. So we walk in, and there's like a bar, and this guy's like serving this bar without a shirt, stuff like that. Um, And then there's like couches, there's like stripper pools, there's high top tables, and then there's like a little like stage kind of place where like people could hang their hands up and shit like that. We saw this girl being hung up like by her hands, and she was getting whipped. Then there's like dark. I noticed there was dark corners all over the place. There was like these little patches of dark corners, and then these dark corners,
like dark as in like no lights or something, or
like the lights. There was lights, but they were like fading off. You know what I mean? They were like
okay.
red lights at very low intensities, and I was just like, oh, okay, so those are the dark corners in which like. And I saw some stuff. I saw people getting some yakety yak and smackety smack. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, cool. And then they had literally private rooms upstairs, you know, which noises were coming from. And I see, you know me, Jabaya. I got in there and I found the most friendly women I could find. And I was like, so explain everything to me. Like, what's the rules? What's the regulations?
Yeah.
Like this and that. Because I don't want to be out of pocket by just trying to start a conversation. Next thing you know, I'm getting beat with a sword. I don't know. They had the little... They had the wheel thing. They had like this one thing that you
the wheel thing. What?
You know, you've seen it. You've seen it. Like they tie you up by your hands and your feet to a wheel, and then they can like spin you around and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And oh, I saw this one guy put this girl in a cage. I forgot about that. Most of the time, I was just wondering, like, should I call 911 for some of these people?
So this was the single section of the club.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get to go to the couples because I wasn't with anyone.
What was the breakdown of the single section? Like male to female? Was it more women than men? More men than women?
No, I would actually say it was pretty equal across the board. I'm not going to front.
Okay.
Maybe it was like 60-40. Maybe it was 60-40.
And was security like letting people in, or was it like you could just come in if you wanted to?
Bro, there's literally more security by the couple section than there is by the entrance.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. There was also a backyard, but it was cold last week in Atlanta. So
did you get any play?
No. I'm sorry. It's not my scene. It's not my scene, bro. I'm sorry. I went in there and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me be open-minded. But I don't know. I looked to my right. This nigga was getting his top off, and I looked to my left, and this girl. I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm old school here. You know, old school. Where
you could have just been overwhelmed. Like there was so much stuff happening to you. Like your brain was just so overly stimulated that you couldn't even process what was going on.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you should try to get into the couple section though. All right, that's where it's really popping.
I mean, if a woman that I'm interested in is interested in checking something out like that, yeah, why not? I mean, look, at the end of the day, it was all like a very, very harmless place. In fact, nothing to me. I was ready for someone to shank me in the middle of the dark. You know what I mean? And nothing like that happened. It was honestly a really interesting, entertaining time. I had great conversations with some really interesting people too. So it was cool.
Oh, Atlanta never changed. All right. So let's. All right. Did your boy get any networking done or?
He did. He got a lot. Yo, we networked all week. I realize in Atlanta, everyone has like 3 jobs. They have the job that you're currently meeting them at, and they have the job that they do probably early in the morning to about the afternoon, and then they have the job that is off paper. That's what I realized.
So why were you down there?
Working, filming, photos, stuff like that. Networking also. I'm trying to build a bigger circle outside of New York. New York's huge, man. It's just oversaturated sometimes, though. You know, it was nice to go down to Atlanta and network. And you know, I went to a showcase. I think it was last Monday. Went to a showcase, and like it was cool that everyone knew each other. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're a photographer. Meet up with this person." Da 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 da. Everyone just kept bringing us to more people, and yeah, it was nice. I mean, we do that here in New York, but I haven't felt like that all year because of the pandemic.
Yeah, and Atlanta's kind of very, very open, I think, instead of New York City.
A little bit, yeah.
Speaking of which, let me not leave this sex club conversation without bringing up the fact that all of y'all going to get COVID. I want y'all to know that. All of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, just saying, that's why Miguel's in quarantine.
I mean, I'm negative. I'm negative again.
Hey, so. Miguel's out here like Mayweather with that coronavirus.
Yo, like this. I was telling, so who was I telling? I was like, yo, I could see it. I could see it. Like I go to a club and I'm like, my eyes just open. I'm like, oh, that's COVID over there. Like that.
So,
yo, all right, hold on. You're Mr. Love Doctor, right?
yes, I am.
I don't want to talk about my Atlanta trip too much.
Okay.
But you gotta help me out.
What happened? What did you do?
I'm inside a club, right?
Regular club?
A regular club. And obviously I'm by the bar, right? I'm chilling. Like my people are here, but I'm also like scanning the room. I'm like, oh, what's popping? And whatchamacallit? I'm drinking and I'm having a good time. And this girl comes next to me with a guy. She comes next to me with this dude, right? They're getting a drink at the bar. I scoot over a little bit. My head's still facing this way. I'm getting a lot of energy from her. Like I'm getting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot that's coming my way. And I'm like, all right. I see old boy next to her. So I was like, all right, well, this is obviously not my place. So I'm chilling. And she's just like giving me a lot of energy. Then she starts talking. Then it's the like because I'm dancing by myself, right? And she's like, hey, and I was like, hey, like I'm really trying not to pay attention. Don't get me wrong. From the corner of my eye, I could tell this girl's bad. Like I'm 8 out of 10, 100%.
Okay.
I can tell. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, hey. But then like I feel her dancing up on me, and I'm looking at old boy like. Okay, so I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm like, hey. So she's like, where are you from? She has an accent. And I was just like, oh, I'm from fucking, I said, I'm from New York. And she was just like, oh, I'm from Toronto. And I was like, oh, cool. She goes, but I'm French. I'm Guyanese and French. I was like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. Now I'm looking at her face to face. And I'm like, damn, she's gorgeous. Then like, I was like, yo, let me not be disrespectful. So I look at old boy. I was just like, where are you from? And he was like, I'm from Chicago. And I was like, all right, so they don't live in the same city, right?
Trying to
like,
do the math. Okay. I see you.
So I'm trying to do the math. I'm like, they don't live in the same city. He sees her A-ing on me. I'm seeing her like, so I'm just like, all right, what brought y'all down here?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I just wanted to have fun. He was like, I'm doing business. That's two different reasons.
Okay.
They both are answering separately. So I'm like, all right, this is it. So next thing, I'm dancing with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dancing with her, right? I ain't trying to go hard. I'm just smooth dancing with her.
I get a smooth Miguel dancing with a hottie.
Yeah. He goes up and grabs her ass, straight up. So I'm like, oh, got it. I get it.
Marking his ground.
This isn't your cousin. This isn't your buddy from Chicago. This is your man's. So I turn away like, oh, time to turn this leaf over, and she pulls me back, and I'm just looking at her man like, yo, this is not me.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening here? Like, what do you guys want? What signal? Because the swingers club was the other night. The sex club was over there.
Yeah.
It's not right now. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So she walks away. I think she goes to the bathroom or something. And he's looking at me. He's like, you see that group over there of girls? And I was like, yeah, I see that group. He was like, that's where we should be. I'm like, we, nigga, what? I'm confused. She comes back with a dude.
Okay.
So she's dancing with this other dude. So then he grabs her, like, the boy from Chicago, he grabs her, starts making out with her. So now I'm just all types of confused because this other guy is dancing behind her as she's making out with this dude. At that point, Jabaya, I was like, can we leave? Can we get out of here? Because my whole mood is still fucked up. What did you get? Like, what do you think is the overall aesthetic of what that couple or best friend or whatever was going for?
So I have to ask a couple of questions first. Question number one: Was this also Atlanta?
Yeah. This was in Atlanta.
Things get weird in Atlanta, bro. Things get weird, and I'm
But
telling
they
you,
were not from Atlanta. They're not from Atlanta.
it doesn't matter. Things get weird in Atlanta, right?
Got you.
Now, did she ever state why? Like how long she was there? Was she visiting? Did she move there
Damn
from
it.
it?
Wait, what you want me to do? Ask all those questions?
No, I'm asking you like.
Why Whoopty's playing in the background?
No, I'm saying like when you were talking to her, did you like did her energy seem like she was visiting Atlanta or she moved from Toronto to Atlanta?
No,
There's a
she
big
was
difference.
visiting. She was visiting Atlanta.
Okay, you let a woman put you in a very dangerous position that night, right? Like you kind of lucked out that old boy was cool, who and probably is just as confused as you were.
Okay.
If I had to guess, he met her first that night at the club. And she was
I
probably
didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I had to guess, he met her that night at the club before you got there. They the same everything you told me. He probably felt like they were vibing. She was dancing on him, whatever. Then you show up, and then you know he doesn't know how to handle it. It's like okay, well, she's giving this guy conversation and she's acting like she likes him, but she would just treat me that way. Then once you went to get the other guy, it might have synced into him that this girl is just here for a good time, just like anybody. That's what I think happened. I think, but here's the thing though, you lucked out because let's say, for example, if this was a case of a guy who was super jealous or not, where you messed up was when she started dancing on you. Oh no, your questioning is where you messed up, right? I would have wished, yeah, like remember when you asked where you from, and then you asked, why are you guys here?
Yeah.
I would have cut the bullshit because you were fishing to try to figure out what their relationship was like. I would have just went to, so are you guys together?
Okay.
Immediately.
Wow, you got some balls. You got some balls on you.
No, it's the opposite. I'm a huge pussy, right? So I want to avoid anything that can be perceived as a slight against that man who commit things physical. Right? Women put men in awful situations all the time. And so what you should have did if I was you, I would have just went straight to the you guys together. The moment she started dancing on me, that's when she's putting my life in danger. Because I don't know how he's gonna react. So I would have went straight to you guys together. Then as soon as they said no, then you know you in the clear.
I don't know. I think it's the more ballsy approach. I like it. I'm gonna do that next time.
Yeah, because once again, what if he was like the jealous type, and he was her man? Now he feel disrespected publicly, so now he has to do something to you publicly in order to reclaim his honor and whatnot. And you innocent, but now here you are fighting this dude over some broad that you don't even know.
I didn't even know. She was bad though. I will say that.
Ain't worth the ass whooping. Ain't worth the ass whooping. And you stay saying that. Last time you said that a beautiful woman was worth catching corona. I think that's what you said, right? Verbatim.
But maybe if you left your house, you would see what I see in the world. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
I leave my house every day for my walks.
What, at 6 a.m.?
It doesn't matter when I walk. I walk every day.
Oh my god. Would you ever go to Atlanta? How much do I have to pay you to go to Atlanta right now and go to a club?
There's no amount of money you can pay me to go to a club in Atlanta. Miguel, Atlanta is like Texas right now. They're pretending like they don't have a problem and they have huge problems. See, here's why I will grant you something. I don't have any intention on staying in my house indefinitely, right? That said, I also don't have any intention on going to places where they're pretending like they don't have a problem. Atlanta is Atlanta has stores open, they have clubs open, they're pretending like nothing is wrong. And I think to me, that is insane. I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna pay me no money to do that. Now I will go to to Atlanta maybe like in like July. You know, more people got the vaccine.
Okay.
There's better treatment. Yeah,
Why do
I'll risk it.
why do you think I haven't caught corona yet?
I think you haven't caught corona probably because even though you are out there being reckless, people like you get what they're gonna get in the end. So you, if I had to guess, the way you're gonna catch this thing, you'll catch it like in an exclusive relationship with somebody that you trust, who gives it to you. That's how you're gonna get this thing. You're not gonna catch it by being reckless or being irresponsible. No, you're gonna catch it when you're at that point in your life where time has slowed down. You love a woman. You're like a homebody, and you gotta have this.
Is this year or is this like later on in life? Like
I don't know when you're gonna fall in love.
Got you. Understood.
That's how you're gonna get this.
Thank you for giving me my agenda on the bullshit. Glad to know that you're rooting for me. You're sitting there and you're like, it's not like I went to Atlanta to pay my bills. It's not like I went to Atlanta to continue pursuing my career because, you know, this year has slowed it down. Nothing like that. It's just like, oh, he's being reckless. He's going to get corona in the end.
No, you going to Atlanta in and of itself is not reckless. No, you going to Atlanta, going to sex clubs, going to regular clubs. I'm just saying, because you got to separate the two. There's the regular club, and then there's the
which one was worse, the regular club or the sex club?
Absolutely the sex club. It's like, think about it. You got all of that yelling and screaming.
Crazy. Remember, I told you I could see corona. I could see it. So like at the sex club, I didn't see as many clusters.
You saw more at the club?
I saw more at the club.
All right. So let's transition now into the real reason why I brought you on today, which is I wanted to talk about Miguel, the filmmaker. Because I know Miguel the man. I know Miguel, the hopeless romantic. I know Toxic Miguel. I never got to speak to filmmaker Miguel because that's
not
what
true. That's not true. That's not true. We had minor. Remember, I was trying to pull you into the telly.
Yeah, but once again, that was you trying to pull me into some like your vision, but not me kind of speaking to you about your passion for it. We never discussed your passion for filmmaking, ever.
I guess not. Yeah.
So, what made you want to become a filmmaker? Was it like a moment, or was it like a accumulation of things that led to you wanting to say, "Hey, I want to do that"?
So I've actually wanted to be a filmmaker since I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
And it's weird. I've always been in love with film. Like, recently I actually just copped one of those TVs that had the DVD in slots in them because it reminded me of my childhood. It did remind me of my childhood because I had a TV with a VHS in slot, you know, and that's all I did as a kid. You know, was like, oh, Space Jam, put it in. I understood how to work that VHS at like 4. Like I was just like, oh, you put it in, you press play, you rewind, this and that, and it was the same with Star Wars. It was the same with I think we had that Forrest Gump VHS. What else did we have? I think we had maybe Blade. No, it was some grungy like black vampire movie or something. And I was just like, I would play those movies back to back. Like every day I would play Space Jam. Every day I would play Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, like stuff like that. And you know, my mom was always like getting movies from the store, the library, some shit like that, and we would be watching. And I had my original career choice was basketball player. Thank God I didn't pursue that because
when did you realize it ain't gonna happen?
At 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 or 6. And then I was like, oh, I said I wanted to make things. That's what I told my mom. I said I wanted to make things. So I would be like, I said, oh, I want to be an architect, right?
Oh, wow.
No, I'm sorry. I said construction worker. And then my mom was like, no, you want to be an architect. She was thinking that blue collar, white collar thing. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started drawing houses on like sheets of paper. And then I said, I don't want to do this shit. I was like, I'm drawing the same house in different colors, different color crayons. So I got to the point where actually I was watching the Oscars, right? The award show for film, the
Mhm.
Academy Awards. And I remember watching it, and my mom was sitting behind me, and something just clicked. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but I turned around towards her and almost said, "I want to make movies." And then like she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna win you an Oscar." That's what I told her. And then that's been my pursuit. I've never thought about doing anything else.
That's crazy. Your journey to that realization. Because for me, I remember growing up, I wanted to be the most corniest jobs now. Now, if you hold one of these jobs, this ain't personal. I'm just to let you know. So I want to be like a bus
No,
driver.
it's a little personal. He's coming at you. He's coming at Brunson. This is Jabaya. This is what you do. You tear people down on this podcast.
No, I don't. I want to be a bus driver, right?
Okay.
It just looked cool to me. I don't know. I remember getting on buses and I found the steering wheel to be so fascinating because like in the car the steering wheel's up like this, but like in a bus
Yeah.
driver it's like down. And I was like, yo,
Yeah.
it looks so cool. I want to be a bus driver. Then, and I think Miss Frizzle also had something to do with that. Then I wanted to be. she did. Greatest bus driver ever. Then
She was at that sex club I was
that doesn't shock me.
at.
That doesn't shock me. Miss Frizzle would be the one at that club.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she would.
So then I wanted to be, of course, I had like a brief point in my life where I wanted to be like a novelist because I used to love Animorphs, which was my favorite. It was my favorite book series before Harry Potter, and I was like, yo,
Gotcha.
I could write that, and then I started to write,
So
and I was like,
at the book fair, you copped. You always went to go cop Animorphs.
yes, but I was introduced to it because my older brother, he had like some of the series. There's like 50-something books, and he had like 20 of them already.
Gotcha.
And so it became this weird obsession where if I could find a book that I didn't have, right, it was one of those. So every now and then, for example, my school would like sell old books, and I'll find a book of Animorphs, and I'll buy it for like $10, and I'm one book closer to having like the complete set. It was a weird obsession for me. So I tried to write, and I realized this is way harder than it looks. So can't do that. Singing music was also a passion of mine that I thought was my calling until I got into podcasting and realized that this is kind of, talking for a living would be how I would want to like die.
Yeah.
Right. Like the talking until I die would make me happy. And that's when I realized that's kind of what I want to do. Now I have no idea if I'll be able to do it. There's plenty of people.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. A few episodes ago, you came out of somewhere with this whole, I don't know if this is what I'm meant to do, this and that. I should go study to do something else,
Which I still am, by the way.
And I was sitting there like, man, this nigga needs to shut up. I was like,
what do you mean?
Because why not keep pursuing this, man?
Here's why. And this is a great conversation I want to have with you because you also have the same passion as I do. And I think similarly, there's no blueprint to being successful at what we do. Right. Mm-hmm. So you are further along in your journey than I am, even because you actually can make money from your passions. I have yet to cross that bridge. Right. This stuff costs me money. I'm not making any money from it yet. And so the reason why, just for background, for those of you listening, Miguel was talking about on my podcast before, like a couple of weeks ago, I came out and said that I'm going to make a shift in my life to study to become a radiology technician. This is a fancy word of saying the guys at the hospitals that do your x-rays and MRIs and stuff.
Yep.
And I decided to make that shift because I'm 27 and I need to put myself on a career path where there's an actual path that I could walk with a reasonable guarantee of kind of something that I can do to earn money. Because this thing, I might not be chosen by destiny to be the ones that to make it. Now, it sounds like a defeatist attitude, but I don't think that it is. Like
No,
one of
you're like the movie Soul, which have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. I've saw clips from it. I saw the clip where he was making fun of the Knicks.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
That went out of pocket. Huh?
You know when they
Everyone's.
because my father's a Knicks fan, so it made me laugh so hard. Uh, but for me, I don't know. I feel like we see a disproportionate number of people who've made it, obviously because they've made it, and so we see them. What we don't see are the thousands, sometimes millions of people who didn't make it. Some of them more talented than the people who
Then
made it. Some of them
absolutely.
who worked harder than the people who made it. And so one of the things we don't like to admit, there is an element of luck that comes into play with dreams like mine and with dreams like yours.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is I am coming to a semi-realization that maybe I am not one of the ones that will be chosen by destiny. At first, it hurt to come to that realization, but it was also kind of a freeing thing because it's just an honest question of, okay, how long am I going to push at this thing before it brings dividends when I'm up against the clock? I'll be 28 this year in October. And then and here's the thing about growing older for the young kids watching or listening. Each year that goes by, it seems like it takes less time to get to the next year. That's the wildest part about growing. You blink and you 30, then you blink and you 40. And so
yeah.
I came out saying I'm going to make this shift because I need to, if this thing doesn't work out, I want to have something that I can do that could potentially lead to growth, an actual career where I'm not in a position now where I'm unemployed because I have a job versus having a career. It's a big difference.
And I 100% agree with your logic of having another stream of income. But I don't think you should slow down your hustle on what you do with the podcast at all.
I'm with you.
You're saying what I hear is that you're saying, like, in order to be within the industries that we decided to be a part of, what we're saying to ourselves is like, hey, what you're saying is there's a percentage of work ethic, there's a percentage of intelligence, there's a percentage of creativity, there's a percentage of passion, there's a percentage of resources, and there's a percentage of destiny. And if your destiny percentage is not at this level or higher, you really don't have a good chance in making it. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
I agree that there's the different, categories, but I don't think it's so much as a percentage. I think it's more of a, race. I think it's a race of which one is gonna help you the most. You're right. Destiny is always gonna be the one winning because it's the one that we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
If my work ethic is harder and faster than destiny, it can get me through the door. I think I turned 28 next month. I turned 28. I don't think I've gotten where I'm at by my creativity. I don't think I've gotten to where I'm at by my passion. I think I gotten to where I'm at by my work ethic. I think especially since like 22, I've made sure that my work ethic has spoke more than anything else. I've been on set for 12 to 13 hours with an hour of traveling, and then got home and then made sure I got to work on things that I wanted to do, pushing like a 20 to 21 hour day, only to go to sleep for 3 hours and do it all again tomorrow. Like, those are things that I've sacrificed to make sure that, like, my work ethic can eventually catch up to destiny. Because for a minute there, especially when we were working at the movie theater, oh my God, you remember how miserable I was? Because I just thought I thought destiny. Yo, Jabaya knew like nobody else, bro. I swear. I swear, because I thought maybe destiny had me. I thought, oh man, this is not. I'm not gonna make it. I'm a small voice. I'm a small man and a small voice in New York City. Who the hell can hear me? Who the hell can hear me on me saying like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker? Da, 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 da. And now I'm getting to the point where I feel like my voice carries. It carries weight. It carries weight with the experiences and everything that I've done, every sacrifice that I made. Don't get me wrong. There's been some big downs, like huge downs, but there's been a lot of potential for bigger ups. You know, and when I take a W, whether it's lowercase, I make sure it's a capital W, man. I take it and I run with it. I'm like, yeah. Someone said they liked my shit. I run with that. I'm like, yes, I gotta
It's
run
like
with that.
fuel.
That's yeah. It's the only thing I got. You
Yeah,
know.
so maybe I didn't come off the right way when I made my proclamation. I don't really plan on stopping to do what I do, but I do think that in order, for example, if I do go on, which I plan to
Yeah.
pursue my career as a radiology technician, it's going to involve schooling, it's going to involve certain things, and so my something is going to have to take a back seat. And I don't know. I just don't want to be the person like. So I have a bunch of ideas, right? In my iPhone, in my notes, I have like a folder where I write down ideas of things that I might want to do if I ever get my hands on some money, right? And one of my ideas was to uh, create a show, or produce a show of people who ain't make it,
Hmm.
so that people can see how many people don't make it, even though
Yeah.
they were super talented, even though they work their asses off. I think there's a randomness to life that no one wants to acknowledge or talk about, but it exists, and we all think because of our own arrogance that we are going to be a part of the winning pile, but you may be a loser. And I'm not saying loser as in
Absolutely.
you are a loser. I'm just saying like you're not going to be the Howard Stern. You're not going to be the Charlemagne God. You're not going to be the Joe Rogan's,
Stanley
right?
Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, the
Yeah,
Steven
yeah,
Spielberg, the Ryan Coogler.
exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
You might not even be the second or third tier of that. So you have to then look at your life and decide what do you want to do, how much are you willing to risk, how much time are you willing to let go by, and that's what I was saying. So as you see it, I've kind of shifted my podcast to more of a Joe Rogan-esque thing where I'm like doing like
Yeah.
these little interviews now with people that I think are very interesting. This way I could do a weekly podcast instead of I was doing before, it was like multiple shows a week. They're longer, but I could do them weekly. This way once I go back to school, I have more time to do
Yeah.
what I want to do. And with the interviews, I can kind of do the interviews, whatever, and then release them on a weekly schedule. So
Hmm.
it helps me that way. And so, yeah, I'm not stopping what I'm doing. Do I
But I
still
don't
hope?
want it to take. I don't want it to take a backseat either.
Hey, but
I don't want it to take it back. Like I said, I did the 12-hour set days, and then I would go home and make sure that I worked as well. Like I don't let it become a Saturday Sunday thing. I still make sure it's a Monday through Friday thing. I just make sure that I do both. I put other things in the back seat. Like shit, for a while I was putting my health in the back seat, but fuck it. I said fuck it. Let me make sure I'm putting these two things in the because there's two seats up front. There's the driver and there's the passenger seat. So like just make sure you have room for both. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of sacrifices I made, but shit, I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at now, more than when I was at the damn movie theater.
Stickfield. You know what it is? Maybe if I was making some money from this, right? And now I have shifted
Mhm.
into like, for example, I've looked into, maybe being like a podcast editor or producing other people's stuff,
Yeah.
right? But once again, if I was making money from anything close to what I'm doing, maybe I would have more. I don't know if the word is confidence or faith, but the fact that I'm not, once again, this is a money loser, and I just need to find ways to generate income, and so having an actual career would make me feel a lot more stable. Maybe that's what it is. That maybe as I inch towards 30, I'm looking for like stability.
Of course.
That makes sense. I don't know.
Of course.
I sound like a middle aged woman, but that's what I'm looking for.
You sound like that woman that turned me down because I wasn't financially stable.
The one who got offended when what did you do to her? You ate the leftovers?
No, she was about to leave her leftovers, and I said, "Oh, good thing you remember because I would have ate them." And then she was like, "Oh, do you want them?" And then I was like, "No, you
Sure.
take this." She was like, "No, I'll leave them behind." And then she was like, "Hey, the leftover thing showed me that you're really not
That's still a
financially
wild story
stable."
to me, by the way.
I tell it at least once a month to get
That's
a
a
good
wild
laugh
story.
out of someone, because no one can understand how she could feel that way.
Because that made no sense. No sense at
Yeah.
all. So something else I want to ask you about the filmmaking. What type of films do you want to make?
Well, hold on. Should I give an overall of like what exactly I do and everything else like that?
Yeah, so tell people what you do and then tell people what you
All right.
want to do.
So basically, I studied TV production in high school. From
Mm-hmm.
there, I understood editing, which I then took and got internships with when I was 18. I started off like kind of wanting to be a film editor. Then I realized that I didn't have the patience for it and started working on other, departments in film and what have you. I got a degree in film, so I went to school for it. Worked at other internships as a video editor. Under like once I got my hand on like a camera, I was like, oh, I really like being here, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought I wanted to be a cinematographer, but I also didn't have the patience for cinematography as well.
So can you
So
explain what a cinematographer is?
cinematographer is the cameraman. He's the person. Sorry, they are the person holding the camera and stuff like that.
Wait, what you just do?
No, I said he, but it's like it could be anyone.
You said cameraman.
Yeah. But it's the director
Oh,
of photography.
I was out
It's
here
the
playing
director.
politics. Go ahead,
No,
Miguel.
no, it's. I was thinking in reference of myself, and then
Okay,
I made it a
got you.
general statement. So no, it's the director of photography. So the director of photography, obviously, is the cinematographer. And when I was in that world, I was just like, eh. Now that was like my hustle. What I started doing was working on film sets. I started as a PA, which is a production assistant. They get coffee and they do anything that someone says, pick up garbage, whatever. And then as soon as I was able to enter, kind of work my way into another department, I did, which was the grip and electric department. So the lights and all the grip work. Uh, so it was like I just started understanding the gear, and then next thing you know, I'm in G&E, grip and electric. I'm now considered a grip, and I started gaffing on college sets. Gaffing is the lighting director
Okay.
of a film set. So I started, and so by the time that I'm at Sinopolis now, right? By the time that I'm at Sinopolis now, being a projectionist,
Oh, but
also going,
Sinopolis is the theater we worked at, by the way. Go ahead.
yeah, being the house projectionist in Sinopolis while also finishing school, I was already sitting there like, oh, okay, I'm working on film sets. I would take off from Sinopolis to be like, hey, I'm working on film sets. Uh, I started gripping and gaffing. I did my first feature as a key grip in the summer of 2017. Yeah, in the summer of 2017. And from there, it just kept going. Next thing you know, I was like, oh, a day grip on a Netflix show or anything else like that.
So you, so
And
you, so you. Sorry to interrupt. So you basically took the let me just get my foot in the door and I'll move up in the building approach.
yes,
Got
but
you.
there's no building with film, right? Because it's just word of mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I'm walking around like, hey, I'm a gaffer. I'm a grip. Which I was mediocre at best, but it was just to get me into rooms and doors of being a gaffer and experimenting while also getting paid. You know what I mean? Um, my first, like I said, my first feature, I think I got paid a grand total of like 1,500 for it, and it was like 30 days of work. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Which, if you ask like a gaffer or key grip nowadays, like, or especially a year or two later from me, I would be like, no, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what you could get paid. And And then from there, I just kept, I kept moving. I kept moving. There was a lot of struggle. I prematurely, uh, I prematurely, whatchamacallit, left the movie theater. I remember going to Shayla and being like, I'm out. I'm officially on movie sets. But I didn't experience the first winter of the film industry, which I didn't know
Oh.
gets so slow.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes January and I have no job. I had to take like one Columbia gig and I was just struggling and I was like, hell. So at that point, I was like, I'm worrying too much about the career path, and I also need to remember my hustle. And
Okay.
that's when I came up with the Telly, the Instagram based television platform that I run. Um, that's when I was like, all right. So I started putting my heart into that, my passion. So here's my work ethic, and now I'm putting up my passion, my creativity, and together, you know what I mean? Together, I think it got me far because now not only am I saying, oh, I worked on these shows and this, but then oh, take a look at my creativity along with it, which then eventually got me into bigger rooms and bigger conversations, and then eventually got me the job at the documentary company that I work for right now.
So the telly was kind of your first creative baby,
I mean,
or
no,
the biggest one.
but it's the one that I say I'm gonna raise. It's the one
Okay,
that I'm
got you.
gonna say because as you have to remember as creatives, right?
It's a Debbie Dab before.
Yeah, ODW. We're always we're always creating stuff and letting it out, but then I have to also think, all right, but how does when I let it out, what does it get me?
Mm-hmm.
So I am creating what for views on Instagram. That's not paying a bill. It's not helping me go forward. When I did the telly, now even though it is based on views on Instagram, but it's also something that it's a structural piece that I present to people now and be like, hey, this is what you do on your platform on a bigger scale. This is what I do on my platform on a smaller scale. And that's what got me my job. Was like, oh, cool. I like what you did on your smaller scale. I think if you apply it to my bigger scale, it can work.
So can you
And
explain?
that's exactly what's happening.
So just for the audience, can you explain to them like the telly as like a concept? Because it is a very,
Yeah.
I think, difficult thing to kind of conceptualize in your mind unless somebody
Yeah.
explains it to you.
Great. The Telly is an Instagram based television network, basically meaning we are a television channel. So everything that you see on our feed, on our page, is content as if it was a TV show. So we have, as of right now, we have 21 different TV shows that you can go and watch on our Instagram feed. Um, some of them are narratives, some of them are documentary pieces, some of them are just abstract pieces put together. And we also do like mini commercials, we do music videos, or just kind of like music covers that we put up on there as well. We started doing it with IGTV. I remember when I got news of IGTV in the summer of 2018, I came to one of my partners and I said, "Yo, this is how we should handle it. I think this is going to be somewhat of the future." So we started shaping our content for IGTV because if you go to our IGTV, you could watch it as if you're watching Cartoon Network, as if you're watching Vice or something like that. It plays one after the other. You would watch a show, give you a commercial, and then it would pick up to another show. Um, and we've seen a lot of success with the shows that we've had on our channel. My first approach was going to people and saying, you know, if you had an idea for a TV show, what would it be about? And then they would come to me and they would say, this is what I would be about. And I would say, let's do it. So, and my pitch to them, because I'm not offering them money or anything, my pitch to them was, I know film. I've gained years of this skill. Let me do it for you. And then it's on my channel. So here you are, Jabaya, getting a whole mini web series that looks great. It's, because that's what we pitch. We're high quality content, which, if you look at our stuff, you can see it.
Oh
So
yeah, it looks beautiful.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we go and like here you now get high quality content. And all I'm asking is that I could just put it on my page. And then eventually you could put it on your page. You just have to give us like a few months of it first so that we can start building The first season was all about building the concept. In our
Yeah.
second season, we really went in on the quality of the actual content in terms of like what we're doing. And you know, some of our shows have been on BronxNet. We have a great filmmaker. Her name's Ariana Rivera. Like, she's now in this documentary Fellowship. We have Bodega Nights, which is something I directed with Ashton Cox. It got into the HBO Latino Film Festival. And
Nice.
you know, now being looked over. It's because what we do is we help people bring the content to life and into a very tangible quality material. And then there you go. Now you have it. Because now you have it for forever. Now you can show that to people and say, hey, I'm not just saying I'm a filmmaker, but this is also something that I've locked down. It's like we're creating these proof of concepts for people to run around with afterwards, and then they can show up. So,
you know what's crazy? I have a phenomenal. I don't know if it was be called a spoof, but I mean, it's been on my mind for literally probably a year or two, and I was like, "Yo, this." I'm shocked. No one has made this show yet, right? I'm gonna tell you what it is.
go ahead.
Right. So you know the show You that's on. It's became huge on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I would do, right? If I had time, I would create like a spoof off of that show where you do you, but the concept would be in like a black neighborhood.
They have it already.
Who did it?
It's called You from Brooklyn.
But like a show?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was thinking
not like a show out there. It's like a web series. They do it. They put it up on Instagram and YouTube.
Really? How come I haven't seen it? Did it not do well?
Oh, I'll pass it to you. I don't know how they release their episodes. I gotta be honest with you. I think the gaps between the episode is somewhat like hurting its reputation. I've seen, I think, one or two. The woman, the actress who's in it, I follow her on IG, and I was like, oh, let me watch this because she's also really funny. Besides being like,
is it funny?
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Like the episode I saw. I haven't seen the other episodes. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna watch the other episodes after.
I would have called because in my mind I was thinking my Joe would be called Joseph Jackson.
You really went in on this, huh? You really, mind you, I've never seen You.
Oh, you got to watch it. It is phenomenal.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You have to. So he would be called Joseph Jackson, right? And the concept would be because in You, here's the thing: there's a bunch of stuff that goes on in the show that is totally insane and unrealistic. One of them being Joe has these caps that he puts on whenever he's stalking a woman, but no one sees him. Right? Even though he should be the most visible person in the world. And so what I would do in my spoof with Joseph Jackson would be Joseph. He's doing stuff that Joe does in the show, but in real life, in the hood, everyone can see him. So when he puts his hat on and he think he's sneaking around, I have like a gang on the corner like, yo, the fuck this dude doing over there? Look at that woman's window.
Yeah, I'm gonna send You from Brooklyn. I
gotta watch it. I have to watch
the episodes. Yeah,
because I still might do it if this spoof thing is whack. Might as well be called You. Then it'll be like ... Can't do this because you black. So that'll be my show.
Okay.
So I like the telly. I like the concept behind it. Now tell me. Now that you are working where you're working now, what type of projects are you doing for a documentary company? Or if you can't speak on it, that's fine. But like, what types of stuff do they do then? If you can't speak on anything,
we do interviews.
Okay. Oh, so like with
different interviews.
Okay, this sounds mysterious for no reason, but okay. All right. So personally, is there anything that you're working on now that you want to tell people about or or are you keeping it close to the vest?
Yeah, I mean, we're working on content for season 3 of Telly. We're doing another season of Bodega Nights. Um, we are always cooking up different. Lately, we've been doing a lot of music videos. We have one dropping on Friday by
Okay.
a great uptown rapper. His name's Don Smith, and it's called Group Chat. I'm gonna post about it in my story after I'm done with this. But it's we're doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. We're now doing live broadcasting. We're gonna do kind of like it's a live, somewhat podcast. It's more like I guess what I'm trying to do what they do on the Breakfast Club, uh, but we're trying to do a little bit more stage. It's more like Jesus and Mero more than anything else.
Got you.
Yeah.
Like a hybrid between the two. Jesus and Mero meets Breakfast Club.
Somewhat, yeah, somewhat. We're not releasing it on any platforms, but the channel, so it's all visual.
Gotcha.
So I can't really call it a podcast. You know what I mean? We're doing that. We're doing more. We have this one lady who's kind of within the music industry, but she is like a journalist in her actual day job, and so she's like gonna branch into the music industry. It's called Of Beats and Sound, and she's gonna like guide us through that, interviewing other people and shit like that. And yeah, we're just gonna keep releasing more content as for the telly. We would have definitely had a season 3 for you guys this month, but
Rona.
because our seasons always start in January, but this Corona thing kind of took a whirlwind. That's also one of the reasons why I went to Atlanta. I met a few people that I'm trying to create something with down there for the Telly channel. So
you like the shooting porn?
Shooting porn, man. Those are the interviews. I'm trying to tell you that I can't tell you about.
Interviews. I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, do you think it is the easiest time it's ever been to become a filmmaker because the startup cost is so much more affordable now than it was 30, 40 years ago? Because that's how I feel about like radio / podcasting. Like I pretty much bought all of this stuff.
It's to me it's so easy to become a filmmaker now. I think it's so. What half the people on TikTok are calling themselves filmmakers.
What are your thoughts about that? I meant to ask you that as well. Like, because TikTok came. Like, do you worry about having your telly network based off of Instagram now that TikTok is around?
It's funny, when I started to telly, my mom had messaged me like, "Hey, you should check out TikTok." That's what she said, and I didn't listen to her. I was like, it was in one of the 50 texts that she sends me throughout the week. So I didn't listen to her, and then every now and then I think, man, mom was really ahead of the game here for this TikTok thing. No, TikTok is something totally different than what we do on the telly. TikTok is a brilliant thing in which it takes it's micro content, right? That people are building with structures and templates, and I think it's good. I think it's better than like a Vine, but I don't think it lives in the same genre that what we live in terms of the telly.
I agree.
Just like how for I don't think that you know what Vimeo is, right?
It's like it's a video streaming service.
Yeah, and it literally lives on its own. Like I would like to say that YouTube is a competitor of Vimeo, but I don't think so. It's so different.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Such a different feel. It's a different feel. You get really complex and interesting and beautiful stories on Vimeo versus on YouTube. It's like kind of just.
But when I said, "Are you worried about TikTok?"
Video platform.
So when I said, were you worried about TikTok? It was less that TikTok. Like for example, I agree with you that the telly and Instagram, that market is different than like what TikTok offers. What I'm saying though is more to the fact that your show to a certain extent depends on the overall popularity and like customer, not customer, audience of Instagram. So
Yeah.
if TikTok appears and it pulls away from the raw users that use Instagram, I was asking about that because that's the only downside about navigating the social media landscape. Things move so fast, and like,
So I think I get what you're saying.
yeah,
Am I scared about TikTok removing our users off of the Instagram platform that will then, watch our stuff? No. Am I scared about Instagram losing its identity and possibly its followers just overall?
yeah.
Yeah. Which I've already thought about, especially what was it? I think it was like July that Congress sat down with, what was it, like Google, Apple,
It was on Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
It was Facebook, Twitter, and one more. I don't know if it was
No,
Google.
I don't think Twitter was there. I don't think Twitter was there. It was like, I know it was
Really?
Google, Apple, Facebook, and
Wasn't Jack there?
Bezos. No,
Oh,
it was like the four kings, right? Um, and I remember listening in on that conference, and I said, man, I should be prepared if Instagram shuts down tomorrow. Because if Instagram shuts down tomorrow, I'm fucked, right? Like even my proof's gone. It only lives in my hard drive. So I'm sitting there like, how do I make sure that lasts forever? Which is why I immediately created our website after that. But I'm also thinking about other things, other aspects. Then I think about Quibi, the
dude,
fail of Quibi.
that thing was such a disappointment, and they spent so much money on it.
Think about it. Quibi is exactly what we do.
Yes, that's the scary part.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that really failed, But I think it failed because it wasn't catering to millennials, because millennials are using their mobile content,
I,
mobile devices for content.
I think it failed because people think for some reason that if you dump a bunch of money into something, that guarantees you a certain amount of success. But that's not true with the internet.
It's not.
Most of these platforms that became $1 billion, institutions and organizations. I mean, when they were started for fun. Like Facebook was started for fun amongst college students.
Yeah.
YouTube was nowhere near
Amazon.
what it is today. Amazon, and
Yeah.
so they have it backwards. So Quibi, they put like billions of dollars into Quibi.
No, I know. As soon as I heard about Quibi, I started emailing them like, hey, just want to let you know I did this first. But real talk. But real talk, let's join. I said, let's join together. Pick us up. We're already doing it. Like, come on, like we're doing exactly what you're looking for. But then when I used the application and I was like, this is just the interface. The interface alone was upsetting
Bad.
to me.
Yeah.
I didn't like that it's vertical, and then then you could flip it and then it becomes widescreen. I'm like, that's damn, it kind of defeats your purpose of vertical content, where our stuff is when it is, because we do have widescreen stuff when, depending on the content creator, but when we have it vertical, it's vertical. Like, we release it as vertical.
They should have built their platform from the bottom up, I think.
Yep.
If they went bottom up instead of top to bottom, they would have had a bigger fan base. It would have grown more authentically and organically instead of trying to just blaze the market with. And they went in on the celebrity endorsements. Every celebrity was doing a Quibi show. Like Lena Waithe and she's the one I saw the most, but there was a bunch of people that was doing like these little Quibi.
No, there was a lot. Everyone and their mother was doing Quibi shows, and nobody was watching it. And to be honest, every time I would ask people if they were enjoying the content that they were watching, they said no.
Yeah, I didn't watch a single thing on Quibi.
I saw an episode with was it Anna Kendrick? It was something. I turned it off. I was like,
yeah, I didn't see not one thing of a Quibi. But I will always, because I do like that there are competitors that are beginning to emerge in the social media landscape. So I'm never going to hate on that. Like I like Clubhouse existing. I like that it's forcing Twitter to constantly have to change and evolve. I love,
Are you on Clubhouse?
No.
You want me to send you an invite?
You have an invite to Clubhouse?
I have invites I can send out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh, now, just to let you know, here's my prediction for Clubhouse. I think Clubhouse is going to have a blazing start and a quick finish for one reason. I think it requires too much investment for a social media app because it's live audio.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you have a life, you can't really be around to listen to most of this stuff because you have shit to do.
I jump on between, I'll say this, between 5 and 45 minutes. If I do. And that's not every day. If I do. I'll hop on maybe 3 times a week.
But I do think it probably would help to grow some, like, your brand.
Yep.
Like if you say
network.
Some
that's why I did it in Atlanta, was use it to network. Yeah, there's people, I get the notification. There's people who are on every day, and I'm like, damn. I feel like they just leave it on. I feel like they leave it on because there's no way, that you can be on at 8 a.m. and at 2:30 a.m. at the same, like, you know what I mean? Going through the whole day. I'm like, you just on it all the time.
My app that I like now is Stereo. I think it's a really cool app. It's a fun. So it's basically like this app where you go on with you get matched with somebody, and you guys are kind of having like a radio show, right? On the app, and people listen to it, and they can send you voice notes, and you play it on there, and you respond to them as well. And they also, the model works is that what they do to get people to stay on the app as much as possible, though I don't do it, they have this thing where if you get like at least 10,000 listens, you earn $10,000, 50,000, $50,000. It's a fun app. Like, I enjoy it a lot. I've had some good listens on it. To me, I like Stereo. To me, I see having a longer staying power than Clubhouse, but Clubhouse is hot right now. I mean, it's on fire.
Did you think Instagram was going to last this long?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't remember because I wasn't the Instagram guy. Only reason I have Instagram is because I
was like month 1, the first month, because remember the original was just a photo filter app, and I was just like, yeah, I'm there. This is like what, 2011? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm there. Like 10 years ago now. And then next thing you know, I was like, that one popular girl from high school got it, and then next thing you know, I saw everyone got it.
The growth, no, so you're right. It's hard to predict these things. Maybe Clubhouse changes things and they live for 10, 20 years. That could be true. People
are already getting tired of Clubhouse, though, from what I see on Twitter.
Yeah, but some of that is because it's right now. It's kind of like the popular kids at the high school table, and so you run into like the same people over and over again, same conversations over and over again, and then eventually, so Clubhouse has 2 problems. Number one, it probably gets monotonous depending on who you are. Number 2, as it grows with listeners, you run the risk of the conversation being kind of dumbed down and the market oversaturated. So right now, I might only I don't know how it works specifically, but I'm pretty sure the way it works, you correct me if I'm wrong, is you log onto the app and there's like a list of rooms that you can enter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, as the number of users grow, there's going to be more rooms you have to navigate through.
More rooms, yeah, but also the rooms that you are choosing to go into, there's no way that you're going to be able to speak in, because I saw a room today that had 1,000 people, and I was like, why the hell would I join this? Because when you go into a room, you don't automatically are able to speak. Someone has to you have to raise your hand, and then they allow you to become a speaker. But like when the speaker list is already 60 people, you know what I mean? In a room of 1,000. How many people are raising their hands to try to speak? I was just like, I actually like to go in smaller rooms because I feel like I'm actually having conversations.
Which is what I would do. I would never go into a room that's over like 100 people, probably.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be me. But so that's the problem Clubhouse is going to run into. And then add on that the fact that Twitter announced that they're doing their own version of Clubhouse, which to this day, I don't understand how that's legal.
They did? They announced that?
Yeah, you remember?
Oh my god, I didn't know this, dude. That's crazy.
Yep, Fleets was one they announced, which made them like Snapchat, and then they announced this other thing where it will be like they pretty much said we're going to have Clubhouse, but we can't call it Clubhouse. It's going to be Clubhouse on Twitter.
I don't think Twitter needs to do anything. Personally,
Twitter is guilty of doing everything except the things they need to do. For example, stop censoring people and kicking people off the platform for stupid reasons. That's number one.
mm-hmm.
Number two, if I was Twitter, here's one thing Twitter could do: give people options. So, for example, I love the mute button. Right? You never have to hear back from somebody. They don't know you blocked them. So while they're tweeting at you all day long, you don't see anything. That is good for my mental health. Right?
Absolutely.
Twitter should stick to that instead of trying to implement all of these things. But look, they're greedy, man.
Who's the CEO of Twitter?
Jack Dorsey.
Oh, yeah. We need to have I'm gonna add him after this. Say stop. Stop. I'm gonna be like, don't mute me. Stop. Like, stop. I don't know. How do you feel about Instagram and the Reels? How do you feel about what they're trying to pull off there?
I don't like the Reels at all. Dude, I'm starting to feel like my parents with a lot of this stuff. I don't want to use it.
Me and you are getting up there, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that I can't figure it out. To me, it's just like I don't feel like being on these apps all day long.
No, of course not.
I'm like my dream. I've said this before. My dream would be that my podcast takes off where it kind of has a life on its own.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to be on these apps at all.
That's good. That's what I want for you.
That'll be my dream. Only reason I'm on any of these things: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But less Twitter because I do enjoy tweeting and reading people's thoughts. But Instagram and Facebook, only reason I have those two is because of my podcast. Outside of that, I would never use them. You know me. I don't take pictures and videos like that.
All right. So what can you have more questions for me? Yeah,
I do.
Before I go into my rant, go ahead.
I do. One thing I want to ask you about the filmmaking, because Michael Moore, I think, is kind of the one of the most famous filmmakers, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Indie filmmakers, I would say.
Maybe 10 years ago, you could say he was like huge.
Well, his
Indie
name
Indie now has a different name in the film industry than it did 10 years ago. But go ahead.
Fair enough. But as far as in these streets, Michael Moore names holds the weight. All right.
Michael Moore holds the weight.
Yeah. I want to ask you, previously I asked you, did you think that the affordability of the equipment makes it easier to become a filmmaker? You have said, oh yeah, because you can buy more equipment, you can do more for yourself. I want to ask you though, post Michael Moore, is the market kind of oversaturated? So because it's easier to get into the field because the equipment is more affordable, now you have more people doing it. So I would push back on you, Miguel, and say it's probably harder to be a filmmaker now. It might be easier to start and to get your equipment, but as far as getting recognized, getting your work out there, if the ocean is filled with filmmakers, then isn't it harder to separate yourself from the pack?
Well, I think those are two separate questions. You asked me before, is it easy to become a filmmaker because of the resources? Let me tell you something, and I tell this to everyone. The only way to become a filmmaker is to make film. I don't care if you shot it on your phone. If you make a film, you're a filmmaker. If you stop making film, I can't consider you a filmmaker anymore because you stopped making film. As long as you make it, whether it's shit or not, you're technically a filmmaker. Now, is it easy to be recognized as a continuous high quality filmmaker? Absolutely not, bro. It's difficult. It's difficult for people. It's difficult for you to sit there and spend 16 days creating something. You spend 16 days shooting something. Then you spend 2 months editing it. Now you have a project. Now you yourself has a project, and you're like, hey, where do I distribute this at? Well, you can't afford a movie theater because your project's a short film and it's not You don't have the resources to get yourself into a movie theater. So well, then where do you put it? You put it on YouTube, you put it on Vimeo, or maybe you even put it on Instagram, depending on how long the content is. Now, how do you get people to watch that? You're a person who has 200 followers on Instagram. You follow about 600 people. You get an average of 25 likes per post on Instagram. So now you release it on Instagram. Who saw it? The same 25 people who liked your post before. But if I'm, let's say that's the third time I do that, right? Let's say that's my third film. Here comes social media influencer A, who has 50,000 people. They do a 1 minute to 2 minute piece that they spent a day on, that they spent 2 days editing. Then they release it. And what did that just get? That just got them 350,000 views.
Very frustrating.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous in a way, but it's the name of the game. You know,
So what tips would
it's
you
a
give somebody?
puzzle. It's a puzzle.
So what tips would you give somebody? Right. So let's say somebody listening, they want to get into filmmaking.
Yeah.
So what would you tell them to do in order to, like, they both the equipment, they already have recorded, 3-4 films. What tips would you give them regarding promotion, like getting eyeballs on the film?
I think you have to break down what your film is first and foremost. Is it a calling card to you? Meaning, does it show your credibility as a filmmaker? Does it show your creativity? Does it show like what you can handle? Or is it an idea that you think should be out there? If you break it down into those two categories, then from there, I think you can work your promotion a little bit more. To me, the calling card is what should be up on social media. The creative ideas is what should enter the film festival route, or the pitching to networks, or sending it to blogs or something like that. Because those are the things that people want to invest in, are the ideas. They want to invest in you as a calling card, but not everyone, you're not going to be everyone's taste. What you can do here is let the world know who you are as a filmmaker. Like, oh, I'm Miguel Ortiz, I'm a filmmaker, this is what I did, it's called Bodega Nights. Here, great. Oh, look, I know he makes films because I see a film that he made, da 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 da. I'm spreading it around, it's getting more views, I'm getting more followers, I'm building that up. That's on this side. On this other side, though, you have to keep working, you have to keep building, and you have to enter into film festival. This is where I spent money entering into, let's say, 20 film festivals. I only got into 4. I
You
submitted to
pay? Wait,
20.
you pay for that?
You have to pay for that.
How much you pay?
I don't like to spend more between $50 and $70. So I love when I catch it for like 30, 45 to enter a film festival. But once I see it beyond that 75 mark, I'm like, because these are all investments and not all of them work out.
Wait, so
They
how
don't
many
always work
films
out.
usually get submitted on average?
Oh, I wouldn't know because I've never actually been like I forget the word that they exactly use, but someone who watches the films at a film festival. But you always get that email where it was like, this year we've had so many submissions. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
you didn't make it. Like that's as soon as I see that, hey Miguel Ortiz, I know I didn't make it. Cause if you got in, it's congratulations. Da 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 da. So it's tough. It's tough. Don't get me wrong, bro. I at one point I had 3 things I was submitting to film festivals. That's a lot of money being spent, and that's a lot of no's I was getting back. It
That
was
is
like 3 different
incredible.
things.
See, I had no
Yeah.
idea people were paying to submit the films.
So let me explain something. Film is not cheap at all.
It
Which
sounds
is why I'm
expensive as hell.
happy. No, it's expensive to get the right people together to make something. Most of the time, you're asking people to do it for free, but they're asking for their lunch to be covered because you're working all day long. If you're working all day long, that means you're not making money. So those are things that you have to think about as well. Then, like, there's things within the film that cost money. If you're like, oh, this person needs this production designer, this clothing, or anything like that, you have to put money towards that and get that. Uh, then Then there's the whole editing suites and softwares, and if you don't know how to do something, you have to pay someone to do it. Then you go ahead and you submit it to film festivals, and then costs so much money. And then if you only get two, think about it, you spend $50 each film festival, and let's say you submit to 10, but then you only get 2 acceptance. Now you're sitting there like you only get your $50 back if you get in, technically, right? Like you don't get the money physically back, but I'm saying the benefits of it. You get it
you
by,
get what you
by
pay
entering
for.
you get what you pay for by entering, but like you're hoping that someone looks at your content there and says, oh, I want to invest in this person, or how do I get more from this person? If nothing like that happens, then you spend $50 for people to watch your stuff, and you could have spent $0 for people to watch your stuff on YouTube. If that
sounds aggravating. See, I had no idea this was going on. Do you think so? If I had to sit back and be objective, I'm assuming the reason why they charge people to submit films is because it probably costs a lot of money to put on these festivals. You need security, you need to pay for a venue.
I mean, now that it's all virtually, I don't understand why it's costing so much. Gotta be honest with
Miguel's calling bullshit. He's like, bullshit.
Yeah, one more time. Because I'm like,
bullshit.
Because I remember a festival was like, hey, $55, 2019. That was a bet. This year, the last year, the festival was like, hey, $55. I was like, well, you're playing this back on a computer. Wait, woo. If anything, it's like even less crew. It's less people you have to pay. There's no venue. How are you still doing this?
This is like the people paying full price tuition when school's online. I would never pay a full tuition year for a Zoom school. You lost your mind.
Jabaya, I would never, ever, ever, ever in my life do that. I don't know who's doing this.
I don't know either. That sounds like a sucker to me, paying all that money for Zoom school.
For Zoom. Or Zoom. You could just go on Clubhouse and
yo. So okay, now this makes sense. So it's not just like the money you get to pay for your equipment. Then you have to shoot. See, this is the reason why I love having these conversations, because people don't realize what actually goes into the process.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're back. No, the reason why I love having these conversations is because people don't hear this side of what goes into the journey, right? So we just went through Miguel. He just laid out, you have the startup costs, right? Which is cheaper now than it was 30, 40 years ago. We all agree on that. But also shooting the film. And what usually happens is you can't really pay anybody as an amateur filmmaker. So what you do is you offer to pay their lunch. The people that are usually in your films, I would guess that the reason they do it for free is because they need acting experience or something. So it's like a mutually beneficial relationship. But while you're shooting, you're not really working. So you're not making money, right? And so it is extremely expensive, even if you aren't spending money, because you can't be working. This is a costly process. And on top of that, the submission fees, like Miguel said, that you're sending out, with some years you might be paying like $300-$400 to submit your work, and you'd accepted to 3 or 4 film festivals. I didn't know any of this, and it makes sense why filmmakers are always depressed. It makes sense.
It makes sense why I'm sitting there like, yo, I have to make money while also pursuing my passion, because I can't pursue my passion if I don't make some cash.
It explains your personal life decisions as well a little bit.
Really? Elaborate.
It does. Well, you drown yourself in relationships that you know ain't going to go anywhere because you kind of like going through the motions. You're numb to all of this. I get it. I didn't know you were going through this process where you deal with all this rejection. You are paying for rejection, Miguel. Think about that. You are paying to get rejected. Even on a good year, you probably get like what, 10?
10. That's a lot.
I'm just saying though, if you send out God knows how many submissions and you got like 8 or 9, that'd be a good year for you. But you still got rejected by
That'd be a great year. That'd be a great year for me.
See what I'm saying?
Great year for me.
And so it would make sense that in your personal life, what you chase women that you're on a business chasing, you put yourself in situations like you do at that club where you dancing on some girl that you ain't know what to do with her boyfriend. Only a man who has to deal with the psychosis of constant rejection like you would find all this other stuff to be comfortable.
Yo, you might have a part of it. Has film gotten me to have a thicker skin? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, think about like one of the greatest ever, Mel Gibson, right? I'm just saying we agree he's one of the greatest ever to do it, right? Remove his personal life. I'm just strictly
go ahead.
judging.
Just continue with your statement. Go ahead.
I'm just saying Mel Gibson probably was like so beaten down by life because of the career he chose to get involved into film, producing, even acting, that eventually you just lose kind of the bullshit cloak that you wear in life. I think you're like on your way to being Mel. From Miguel to Mel. That's the journey. Miguel to Mel.
Hell to the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. You make it. I just want the audience out there to know I'm not that depressed. I'm pretty all right. You have your ups and your downs, as does everyone, I think.
Oh yeah, like but don't you think? But I mean, Mel Gibson was probably like you were when he was your age. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And wait till you make it. Like where you actually have like, Oprah in an audience and like people like that. Now it's pressure.
But now hold on. Let's relate it back to the destiny thing.
Okay.
What if destiny's not on my side?
Even if you don't get Oprah, you have. I'm very confident in saying that you will be a very successful, I think, indie filmmaker. Right? Meaning you might end up being the people that have like cult followings, where they don't have a large audience, but they have a big enough audience where they can make a living, and their work is so beloved that the people are dedicated. That I think you're going to have fairly soon, like within like the next decade. So if you get that, that's still better than most people.
Absolutely. So you're saying that from your theory of like you think destiny is in my favor a little bit.
I think that's your floor. Instead of a ceiling, your floor. Your floor.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's your floor, then Oprah's probably the ceiling.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And that's when the depression kicks in, boy. That's when it hits you.
I'm crying. All right. What's another question?
No. So that's kind of where I wanted to not end, but just highlight how much work goes into being a filmmaker. Because once again, I don't think people really realized it until you laid out today. Kind of, even before you earn any money, you spend way more than you earn. The first time you earn is going to be such a small portion, so you have to kind of love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Can't do it if you don't love it.
You cannot do filmmaking if you don't love it. When it comes to narrative, mind you, you can just do music videos, and people are always willing to drop money on music videos because you're actually getting paid for that, and then you put something out. And then there's so many different ways to go up this ladder, though. There's so many different ways to go about it.
Yeah, porn.
I want to be known as a narrative filmmaker. My ultimate goal is to have the telly become an official television network one day. I love like directing and producing. No one's ever really hiring, like even when they hire you for music videos, not hiring a director, they're hiring a videographer who can direct, edit, and shoot with their own camera that's 4K, that could do it for like $200. And
that's insane for $200.
Yo, they be, and it's crazy because like I'll give like a decently, price, like, oh, fitting 100, 1,600. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I don't know if I could do it, champ. And it's like,
Champ. Yeah, I can't
and
do
I'm
that.
I'm like, but thankfully I've worked with great people who, like, we've worked on pricing, or like they were like, I can do it, and then once they see the content, they're just like, oh, I have to, we have to do this again, because it's you're not, when you pay for a videographer, you're not just paying for the 4K camera that they have, because you have a 4K camera in your hand. It's called your phone. But what you are paying for
Their
is
skills.
their skills and their passion for the art, the passion that, what, you're paying me 600 for this video, but if I make this video great, then it's content that I can use to get something that pays me $3,000, $4,000. That pays for the next 2 months of um
Work you get.
that pays for the next 2 months of Adobe Premiere, of
Mm.
my editing software, because they don't think about it. And I put that when I break it down to people sometimes, when they're like, "Can you break this down to me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It's stupid for me to pay my own Adobe Premiere subscription. Like,
Absolutely.
my Adobe Premiere subscription is something I use to edit with. I should put that in my fee when I approach people. Hey, because I am you're when you're hiring me, you're hiring me and my equipment, and that is also part of my equipment. That should also be in the mix.
Yeah. I mean, I have Final Cut Pro. So I heard about that Adobe and I was like, nah, I ain't doing that. No, baby. Dubai's paying a one-time only fee, baby. I pay that monthly cost. But I do think you have kind of put a spotlight on the difficulties of being a filmmaker. Even though you still didn't answer my original question about what type of films you hope to do in the future. Are you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So like I said, I'm very big on the narrative. I'm very big on drama. I would love to do comedy, but I don't think I'm that funny. I also think my comedy is very it has a very narrow audience. But I really love telling psychological dramas, and I really love telling kind of what I call the gritty dramas. Especially within the neighborhoods and stuff like that. If you watch Bodega Nights, it all takes place in East New York. I feel like there's a level of grit that I like in my films, that I think can work out. I'm really big on making a movie, but I won't lie to you, I'm very much of a
TV guy?
character guy. I'm very much of a character guy, and television is more shaped for characters.
You have more time to develop the character.
Yeah, yeah, and I like characters. I think characters make something. What I what do I always say? A bed is a bed, but two characters sleeping in it. Now you have a story. You know.
Totally agree. Though the upside to movies, I think, is kind of like, for example, one of my favorite movies is The Notebook. I love The Notebook. I can watch it like
Yo,
once a
me
month.
too. Me too.
I love The Notebook.
I think that says a lot about you and I, though, Jabaya.
That's because we like
Says a
watching what we'll
lot.
never have. So,
you really don't think me and you are ever gonna find love?
no. I think we think, and here's the thing. I don't think our story is going to be we never find love, so we don't try. I think our story is the worst kind, which is people who will never find love but desperately want to find it, and so we're going to make all sorts of bad decisions, get married to people that we ain't supposed to get married to. They take half our stuff. It's going to be tragic for us.
So from this conversation, I'm turning into Mel Gibson.
Yes.
I'm only hitting the floor, right?
No, I said the floor for you is cult following. The ceiling is
cult
open.
following. Got you. So I'll take that one back. I'm not finding love.
Not at all.
COVID's gonna come back for me.
Absolutely.
Got you. What was another thing? I'm toxic. Those are the four, right?
Yeah, all these things are true though. I'm waiting for the thing that's outrageous. Everything you just said sounds spot on.
I really need a solid proof. I need a solid proof. I really want to get. Where's SB? I gotta get SB in here one day.
She
I
will
think SB will
co-sign
defend me.
everything.
I think
No.
SB will defend me. Will defend me.
And do you remember what she said when she listened to you complain about the movie stuff?
What movie? So what are you talking about?
The deceit.
Yo,
I was on your side. SB was like, "What's he talking about?"
we gotta bring that conversation back up when we do a podcast between me, you, and SB, because I was telling that story actually recently, like I want to say about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and the girl who I was telling it to, she completely understand where I was coming from. She
As did
understood
I.
the whole thing. Yeah,
but SB was like, "Why he crying for?"
I
I'm like, he's not crying. I understand what he's saying. So, you say you want to ask me something? Did you forget?
I forget. Yeah,
that's fine. That means it wasn't important. So yeah, we're like 142 into this thing. I think you've pretty much answered all of my questions about filmmaking. Is there anything else you think people should know about the field?
Yeah, I mean, dive into it if you are 100% passionate about it, and if you care about the film industry. I will say that, because this is an industry that is very communal. It's it's a community, and you should care about your other fellow filmmakers, because there's a lot of supporting other filmmakers just as much as them supporting you. So you can't come at me and not come to one of my shows or watch my stuff on Instagram and then always expect me to watch yours. That's not how it rolls. We're in this together. I'm so happy that I went to college with a group of really, really, really talented and wholesome of people that we still work together. We still hang out together till this day. A lot of them have come on the telly and helped and worked and stuff like that. And I've met them on their projects and everything else like that. And it's important for us to stick together, because I think that's the only way to come up. There's directors that all know each other from like the college days, from their early 20s, because they work together to get up there. So don't be
things get
selfish
messy on set.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Come on. You're away in a Airbnb for what, 2 weeks? You're pushing 12-hour days. You're having like these really unimportant conversations in between working and not working. You know what I mean? You're only seeing each other. Of course, there's the light flirtation that helps the 12 hours go by. Of course, there's the occasional hey, I have a bottle of wine, come to my room tonight. Like, yeah, that happens.
The film seems like it has all the ingredients of being like very Harvey Weinstein-ish. It does, right? I'm just saying it has all the ingredients for it, because like you said, you're away from people for like these long hours.
Yeah.
You are, if you're the actors, you're jumping back and forth between fantasy and real life. I just feel like lines can get blurred very easily in film. Okay, I'm just saying. It seems like that's what would happen in that type of industry, similar to music, like late nights in the studios. You're recording these really intimate records. There's wine.
Everyone's smoking weed. Everyone's smoking weed. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same scenario, man. I'm telling you. And after a while, you're just like, what happened? How did I get here?
All right, so I guess we'll end this. Just don't catch a case, Miguel.
Never.
And
I'm actually a big. I'm a big like. Don't mess around with people you work with. Why are you making that face?
It must be a recent development.
Yeah, it's a 2021 thing.
All right, that sounds more accurate. I was like, what?
It's 5 days old. So But I'm a big advocate for it.
as am I. But yeah, so thank you, Miguel, for coming on. I feel like we taught the people a lot about filmmaking, a lot about swing clubs, a lot about
Atlanta.
Is it true what they say about Atlanta as far as it's like the male gay capital of the world?
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Fair enough. I heard there's a lot of gay men in Atlanta.
I don't know. Like I didn't really. I don't know. Not that you could just pop them, view them out of nowhere. But I wouldn't know.
So what places have you been so far? You've been to Atlanta. And I'm saying like in general, across the country.
Oh, I mean, across the country. Remember, my dad was a truck driver. I think we spoke about this. So it's like, I've been to Houston. I've been to Dallas. I've been to San Antonio. I've been to Atlanta, Miami. I've been to Orlando. I've been to Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, up and down, just honestly up and down this East Coast, New Orleans, Washington, Charlotte. I recently, this year, how about we do 2020? I traveled to the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Portland and Seattle. I went to Miami, and then I went to Atlanta. Those are the three spots where I actually had to take a plane to go to each of those locations.
Nice. Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you once again for coming on for our sixth time. We out here giving.
I want to get SB. I want me and SB don't get to talk that much. I think this would bring us together.
SB hasn't come on since I found out that I ain't gonna say it on this podcast, but yes, we should get you and SB on here, so right, that you guys can work through your movie issues. So I would any plugs you want to leave before we get out of here?
Yeah, the Telly channel is our Instagram. Please follow, watch, and enjoy. Don Smith music video group chat comes out this Friday, January 8th. There, he's a phenomenal rapper, and it's a great music video. Please enjoy. And then follow me personally on IG, which is at 28MMOZ. And there you can see my film photography work, and I don't know, you can chat me up.
Oh, Miguel, by the way.
Yeah.
How do you keep finding all of my old high school friends?
I have no idea. I have no idea, bro. I saw this girl and I saw that you were following her, or you knew her, or whatever. So I sent her to Jabaya, and I was just like, "Hey, you know her?" And she was bad. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I don't fall in love that easily.
I didn't say you did.
No, I'm just lying. I do. I just saw her, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you make contact yet, or you still scoping the?
No, come on. I'm not gonna make contact like that. You gotta work your way into it. If there is a way into it, you gotta analyze it first. I just like some of her photos. I don't think she followed me back. So there you go. It's a double rating.
Okay. Probably didn't even notice.
I also don't have like photos of me on my IG. I really should fix that. I just have photos of everyone else in the world.
That sounds about right. You're a filmmaker.
I know. I should. I want someone to, for my birthday this year, I want someone to take photos of me.
What's homegirl's name again? The girl who was on before with you.
Lachey.
Yeah, tell her to do it.
No, like a real photographer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Miguel, people, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are meeting him the first time, I'm sure you will run into him in the future. Not sure if that'll be a good thing or a bad thing, but time will tell. And once again, I'm your host, Shabaya, aka the Crew Philosopher. Thank you for listening to another episode of the podcast. I love these long form interview styles. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is my second one I did. Did you listen to the one I did last week?
No, I was in Atlanta. Why? What's up? Who was it?
I interviewed he's a guy that he used to listen to the Keenism podcast before. He's a pastor, right? And so we talked about, like what it takes to become like a minister and a pastor, why he thinks Americans are less religious today versus in the past.
Oh wow, I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, I told him that I don't believe in waiting until marriage to have sex. So why should I? So we had
Yo, if you need like people, let me know.
Dude, if you know anyone, I trust your judgment. If you know anyone that would be interesting for me to talk to, definitely.
You should definitely interview my roommate. He is he's very articulate. He is standing about 20 feet from me. So I hope he's listening.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
It's on a podcast. What would you say your podcast is about?
I talk to interesting people to find out, to cut through the bullshit.
Talk to interesting people to cut through the bullshit. He's a very intelligent, in his 20s, like gay man living in New York, and he's very very he has a lot to say about politics. That would be a good conversation.
It would, though. I would want to know how he feels about your life looking at you.
He loves my life. We talk about it all the time.
I find it hard to believe, Miguel.
Why do you find it hard to believe that he likes my life? Why?
You live a reckless life.
I don't think I live a reckless life. I think you don't know a lot of reckless people. That's what I think.
I think if I was him, I would have had you quarantined at a hotel.
I'm going to set that one up. All right.
All right, definitely. But thank you guys for listening. I will see you guys next week. Until next time, deuces.